Hey everybody, Mark Smith here, Artistic Director at Legacy Theater, and this is another interview that we have set up with one of our favorite Legacy actors. We are bringing these to you so that you feel connected to us and we feel connected to you, and you realize that Legacy is here. Legacy is still wanting to be here when all is said and done. And so I am setting up some one-on-one interviews, or maybe 1-on-10, who knows at some point, but at least one-on-one for now, with some of our favorite actors, people who've graced the Legacy stage, who've been such so beneficial, so influential, such big supporters of Legacy. And today we have none other than my partner in crime on stage, Dave Dorrell, is here chatting with us. So Dave, first and foremost, we got to do this for the fans that know this show. So you got to start with.
Oh, wait a minute.
What? You've got your notes.
I was ready. Are you ready?
I'm ready. All right, go for it.
Good morning, Tuna. This is Thurston Wheelis.
And this is Arlie Struve.
And this is the Wheelis
Struve
Report.
Yeah.
Good morning, Tuna. This is Thurston Wheelis.
And this is Arlie Struve.
And this is the Wheelis Struve Report.
There you go. I was like, what's my last name?
I'm ready. I'm ready to do the whole thing right here.
You know
I even
what?
have stage directions.
Dave.
No, you know what? There's no stage directions written down at all in this.
Don't tempt me, because I just had an idea.
Oh, no.
Why don't we do Zoom Tuna? Tuna Zoom.
Tuna Zoom. Well, I kind of like Zoom Tuna. You know, I've really been racking my brain because I've been seeing all these things like the Hamilton cast and all this stuff. And I thought, what could I be a part of? That's what we should do.
We should do it. I'm already going to pitch it to Bethany. We can do our fast changes right off screen. We can come back into the picture. We can. I mean, and it's a lot of it's a radio show. I mean, come on.
Well, it is.
So, we'll put this on hold for now, but this is this is something I want to brainstorm about. But, so Dave, if you didn't know, Dave and I, starred in the second season of Legacy. It's hard to believe it's the second season.
And
Greater Tuna.
And we survived.
Yes.
Barely.
Greater Tuna was there, and then directed by the great Scott Bradley, who has done several shows here at Legacy. He directed $1 Million Quartet with us. He's been music director for several of our shows. But Dave and I did that show, and then 2 seasons later, we brought back the Tuna Guys with the Tuna Christmas. Gosh. So many fans who saw the shows have wanted us to bring them back, and
they're sick.
I know.
Oh my goodness! Do they realize that we're a little bit older?
Yeah. No? Well, you know, the original Tuna Guys, it wasn't a big issue for them. They did it. They're still doing it, aren't they?
I don't want to hear that.
One of them did. I don't want
to hear that.
No, I don't know.
It's a marathon, people.
So
it's great.
Let's talk a little bit about, first of all, I asked you to do Tuna, and you knew the show. You'd never done it though, right?
I had never done it. I had seen it, and I'd been around it. A couple of theater groups I'd been with. One way back before I even moved down here in Michigan had done it, so I was sort of familiar with it.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you dangle that bait of doing a two-man show, you and me. Yeah. I don't care what show it is. I'm going to do it just because I know it's going to be so much fun.
So we bit the bullet and we did it, and we. So tell me. I mean, I think Greater Tuna. Now, it was the second time that I'd done it, and so I had a little bit of a leg up, I guess, in terms of what to expect. And I would say that Greater Tuna is the easier of the two, wouldn't you?
It is. You know, here's my theory. They wrote and performed Greater Tuna, and they were just amazed that they could get through it. And so they came back and said, hey, let's do a Christmas version, and let's throw in a few more characters.
Faster costumes.
And faster. And let's make some characters have to have arguments and fights with the same actor, but it's two different characters. That'll be great.
All right, so what we're setting up here is the fact that Greater Tuna was a blast. We had so much fun. It was
fantastic.
We had a great costumer, Jenny Robinson, who helped us live with and we had great dressers. You have to have great dressers for the show.
I'll tell you what, without our dressers, the audience would have been looking at a bare stage for about 90 minutes.
Oh yeah.
Because they were the unsung heroes.
It's a show back there. Like I wish we'd recorded the show.
No.
Well,
no one would want to see that. There's a limit. There's a limit.
So tell me your favorite character from Greater Tuna. What was your favorite character?
I think my favorite character was probably Pearl. Aunt Pearl.
In Tuna, because you had Tuna Christmas was more Pearl. So
Yeah.
you're saying in both shows.
I think both because Pearl reminded me so much of one of my aunts, one of my mom's sisters, and that's where I kind of pulled a little bit of inspiration from, just in her speech characteristics and stuff. But yeah, I think she was the best one because she was a little outspoken, a little bit of a curmudgeon, maybe.
Yeah. She loved to sing.
She was good. Yeah. You little egg-sucking poodle. Get that poodle out of my yard.
I have to admit that the Pearl Dixie scene in Tuna was probably one of my all-time favorite moments on stage.
We had a couple because we had Pearl and Stanley. And remember, the good one from Greater Tuna is Pearl and Stanley are in the car and he runs over the dog.
Yeah.
They accidentally kill the dog, but then they run over it to make it look like he got hit by a car. And then he backs up and runs over it again just to make sure. That was the funny part with that one. But then
great way to end Act One. Yeah.
The Pearl Dixie scenes were great.
Yeah, those were probably those were the best written, I think, of the Tuna Christmas. Now, Tuna Christmas, so we had fun with Greater Tuna. We're like, oh yeah, let's do it again. Let's bring back Tuna Christmas. Yep. Although we had people who were at the, Tuna Christmas is a Christmas show. So we had people who were like, this is a Christmas show?
Yeah.
But at the same time, I had such a blast. But so I think your point is true that they just crammed so many characters into Tuna.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that diner scene.
Yeah,
the diner scene starting off Act 2 was just insane.
Yeah, Helen and Ineta. Yep. And I got to tell the story. I told my
Is this the one I'm thinking of?
Yeah. So where I'm sitting in the audience, and I'm going through.
Oh no, I got another one.
Okay, tell me.
Anyway, yeah, go ahead.
I'm going through the audience. We come on stage at the top of Act 2, and we got to go up on stage like we won an award. So we're going through the audience.
So we're in the house.
And all of a sudden, we were in these tight like waitress dresses, and heels and everything.
And we look good.
Well, one guy apparently thought so, very much so. So I'm going through it, and I feel that somebody pinches my butt, like somebody literally.
And it wasn't me at that time.
Thank goodness. Pinched my butt. I kind of like what? And I'm trying to stay in character, and I keep moving up, and then from the audience, I get up on stage and I hear, "Boy, you got some nice looking legs."
Yeah, that's the one I remember. Because remember, that was a really interesting thing because at the end of intermission, we went out into the outside the theater. What's the word?
Yes,
lobby.
Right.
The lobby. That's what you call those things.
You had to go into.
So we went out in the lobby and went in with everybody.
Yes.
So that was fun to try and stay in character and talk to people. And then we went up and squeezed in some seats, and then making small talk before the show started, which was funny, And then we're talking to the people next to us. But yeah, the one I remember was, if I recall, it was you were answering the phone or you were making a phone call and you were downstage, walking across the very front of the stage. And
that's right.
Nice
it was
legs,
a separate
boy.
thing. Yeah.
Nice legs, boy. And you kind of look back upstage at me like, what did I just hear? And I just had to look down because I was going to start laughing.
Well, and remember, okay, the other story.
There's so many good ones.
Is the Charlene and Thurston second act Greater Tuna. It was towards the end of the run, I think, and she comes out and she's supposed to say a poem, like to recite a poem.
Oh yeah.
And I could not remember what the poem was.
I'd forgotten that.
out. And you said, here's Charlene Buemiller with this.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I went, da, 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 da. And you said
It's
something.
just not happening. Just not happening.
So I walked off stage. So you started riffing, and I came back on. I said, I'm going to get through this poem.
I think you tried it 3 times. 3 times. It's the rule of 3.
And it was done.
I had forgotten that, but you're right. Oh my gosh, you came out and just couldn't get through it. And I'm sure I said something like, "Well, Charlene, that's all right," whatever.
By the third one, the audience.
Here you came again.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh my gosh, what? Just let it go. Let it go, man." Well, Mark was like,
the audience was thinking it too. They're like, "Just get off stage."
Yeah. Why does he keep coming out?
Oh, that was a good one. That was
now the other thing I remember. This is the last story I'll tell about Tuna. Is there was a part where I was out as Thurston, and you were back. It was during the radio show, and you were back making a change. And that's kind of how it works. So one of us would be on the radio making some announcements while the other was changing into another character that came in. And there was one that you needed a little more time on, kind of consistently.
Yeah. And
so I started maybe ad-libbing a little bit of a story. And it was about, I can't even remember the character's name, but she was so upset because she was never going to be a ballerina because
right. You made up her name. Yeah, that's right.
That campfire girl sleep out, when her toes were eaten off by wolverines. And every time I said it, it'd be some different animal. And it really was just a joke for me and the guy running sound. Because he would just crack up and he would wait to hear what I was going to say, It was fun. But the one thing I did learn, though, there was another point where we were both on the radio, you and I as Arliss and Thurston. And I started ad-libbing. And you were going along with me. But there's one thing I learned about Mark Smith. He can only ad-lib for so long before he loses it. He can't hold it together. Once we reach that threshold of ridiculousness, he's gone. He's gone.
Yeah, you can't push me too far. You can't. Yeah. I can only be in the moment for just about 10 seconds.
Yeah, we got beyond that a couple times, and we would just kind of both look down. And the nice thing about that, what I find fun, is not only the ad-libbing and playing off each other, but when you get that point and the audience is just going with you.
Oh yeah.
And then they realize that we've kind of hit the wall.
Yes.
And we're losing it, and they just love it. It's like the old Carol Burnett show.
Oh yeah. But
how you love to see Harvey Korman and those guys. But
those are the best ones.
When you get to that point, and that we've got to stop, and the audience is just like, that was great.
Well, I think we've talked about many times bringing back doing red, white, and tuna, and doing at least getting to red, white, and tuna.
There's about 17 versions of it.
Well, there's Vegas. I think Vegas is it. Tuna in Vegas or whatever.
Yeah.
And people have been asking for it. So I do think it will come back. I don't know when. It is a very un-PC piece, to say the least. So
now, it really is.
Now it's got a little bit of dated to it, but we'll look at it. We'll revisit it if we can. So maybe Tuna Zoom. We'll
Tuna Zoom.
So you've also, it's not just Greater Tuna. You also did the world premiere of Vintage Hitchcock.
Right. Yes. That was cool.
Yeah. Peter Pan, which actually I'd forgotten about. I was like,
really?
Yeah. Peter Pan.
It took me so long to get in those tights. I'm surprised you forgot that.
How could I forget Peter Pan? How could I forget the
hydraulics involved with flying me across the stage was ridiculous.
Pippen, where you got to reprise your role as Bertha, or as a Pearl,
pretty much.
Yeah,
pretty much. Hey, here's a funny thing about that. Somebody said they didn't realize it was the same person
as Charlemagne
for a while when I came out as Bertha, as the grandmother.
That's good.
Yeah, so I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden they went, "Hey, that's that guy." What? And then the guy yelled, "Nice legs, boy." So I don't know.
Maybe they were talking to you the first time.
I don't think so.
Joseph.
Yes.
the dual role of Potiphar and
Jacob.
Jacob. Yeah, Jacob and Sons.
Yep.
Xanadu.
Quick beard change in Joseph.
That's right. Xanadu.
Xanadu, that was fun.
Yeah. And then 1776.
Yeah.
And I think that's the last one, right? I mean, in mainstay.
Well, in what we'll call the real shows.
Yeah. So you had children's shows.
There's a whole nother genre here of the children's shows.
You were our first children's show.
Yeah, that's right.
The year Santa almost forgot Christmas.
Almost.
You did 2 versions of Elves and the Shoemaker, didn't you?
I did.
Yeah, that's one of our favorites here. We've done that like 6 times, I think.
Yeah, that's a really good one.
And then Princess and the Pea.
That one was so much fun because the cast, the people playing we were all crazy.
It was
crazy.
I'll
tell you why. That was when we were doing Pippen.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So we had a lot of the cast members, well, I think most of them.
Yeah.
Probably all of them.
Yeah.
Did Princess and the Pea. And it was early in the morning. And if you know anything about actors and you try to get them to do anything early, like before noon, it's just ridiculous. And it was such a fun show and we had such crazy characters. Same thing. I mean, when we were backstage waiting to go on, it was just a laugh fest. We were
because we were in tights. We were all in tights.
Oh, we were.
Yeah, and you put an actor in tights, it's done.
It's the goofy factor goes way up.
Yeah.
Go way up. IQ level goes way up.
It's constricting around the middle area there. It's hard to get the blood up to the up to the head.
Yeah. But we have nice looking legs.
Yeah. That's going to be the name.
There's a theme here.
And then you've also helped design so many things for us. Like when it's a weird prop, go to Dave Dorrell.
Yeah, here's the thing. So I'll if it's like the Wednesday before opening, I'll get a call from Mark. Hey, I was wondering, do you have time to make a 42-foot long dragon wearing a vest that flies and lights up? And then
comes apart.
It comes apart every night and has to go back together. Let me see.
Jack Frost, which had the craziest props, like a fish that had to freeze on stage.
Yeah.
Pippen, you designed the banners that we use for Pippen.
Yeah.
Plaid Tidings. I forgot to write that one down. Plaid Tidings. You designed all those weird, like the choir, the choir that sings.
Right.
Dave is Dave is a director. He is a designer and he is an actor. So he does more than I do at the theater, actually. So out of those shows, give me just, we don't want to take up people's too much of their time because I know they're so busy right now. But at the same time, what of those shows, maybe besides the tuna shows, a favorite that or one that was most challenging? What do you think?
Oh, let's see. I liked Pippen, but that one really doesn't count because I've done it before. And it's kind of one of my favorite shows anyway. I mean, but I totally enjoyed it. I think 1776 was good. I enjoyed that one because the concept that you had was different. Setting in the 50s as like professors at a school. So that was fun. I don't know. It's hard to choose a favorite though. I mean, Xanadu was fun because
Xanadu was one of my favorites in terms of the theater itself. Like it just shows at the theater it's a great cast.
Yeah.
And it's a small cast, but the material was so good. Like the jokes and just the zingers and
the thing I really liked about that one was I went into that one not knowing that show at all. Now I'd seen the movie.
Yeah.
And it says, it's a spoof of the movie. I'm like, oh, okay. Is it? And then when we got into reading it and all that, I'm like, this is hilarious. They really are spoofing the movie.
Yeah.
It
takes the movie and makes it better.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like, okay, this is my kind of humor.
And the music is so good. I mean, the music was good already. And then adding in the great book and everything was really fun. Yeah, I agree with you. Xanadu, and I mean, you had to do it kind of. You had to kind of do it all in that one because you had to do more character stuff. Plus, you had to do kind of be like a song and dance kind of guy, you know, at the same time. So.
Yeah, and I wasn't the goofy character. I was more the straight man for a while.
Yeah.
Until I put the roller skates on.
And also, you played Zeus as well, and that was pretty funny.
There's a classic Zeus moment in that show too. I don't know if you remember.
That's the one on video. That's on
Is
the
it?
archival video. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Should we talk about that, or you just want to wait and show it?
I'll show it.
Okay.
Are you talking about the chair fart?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I'll show it.
Yeah.
I'll put it
Straight
on.
from Broadway.
It was.
Yeah, I know. Well, that was cool though. I mean, getting the props and the costumes. And I'll tell you what, that Zeus costume was cool.
Oh yeah.
That was a cool costume.
It was really pretty to watch. I mean, just all the little set pieces that came on, and costumes, like the way they designed the costumes, the tearaway, and all that stuff was really cool.
Right. Yeah.
So, as we kind of wrap all this up and thinking about the future, first of all, kind of tell us where you are now, what you're doing, what you're working on, and then kind of bring us in terms of like, as we look at legacy, why is it important that legacy keep going? Why is it important that the arts keep going in general? But what is it about legacy that's helped you, contributed to, to your career, to your experiences, and that it's important for this community to help keep it going? So what have you been working on?
Well, as you know, I'm the general manager at the Georgia Renaissance Festival. And right now we're sort of on hold with everyone else. We've taken our season, which was supposed to start on April 18th, and we've postponed it until October 10th. So we're in a real hurry up and wait situation right now, which is very frustrating and makes me a little anxious. I mean, we've got everything ready that we can, but we're still, just waiting this out. So that's what we're doing. I do have a couple little projects I'm working on here for the festival. One is a walk around character. It's a bridge troll. And so I don't know if you know, I'd make puppets too. But this
I've seen the pictures.
a walk around puppet mascot thing.
Yeah.
And then I'm also working on a wizard character puppet that will be our weather forecaster.
Oh, that's cool.
And we're hoping to partner with maybe some local TV stations and get the weather wizard on to talk about what the weather's going to be like for the weekend of the Renaissance Festival. So I've been able to work on those. That keeps me busy right now. But, one of the things about the arts in general, it's easy now to think, well, everything's just got to stop. And that's really difficult for anybody that runs a theater or anyone that makes a living in the theater, because you can't just say, well, okay, well, I'll just wait until everything comes back on. I mean, that's a lot of people's entire income right there. So it's really important now, especially, that we keep the arts alive. I saw something recently where a woman said that she was paying her full tuition for her daughter's dance classes now, even though there are no classes, because she said, I want this to be there when all this is over. And so it will continue. And I think that's super important right now. Yeah. So, a lot of people are doing things like supporting artists online and things like that. So, think about not the next month, but what happens in 6 months.
Yeah.
When we all come back to this. And, I have this awful feeling that a lot of organizations won't survive it. And that would be awful. But, I just think people just stop and think about how they can support the arts now. And certainly keeping the legacy alive is great, because, it's done such a great thing for the South Side of Atlanta. That's the thing that everyone always talks about. They're like, oh, you're going to see a show in Atlanta. Like, you don't have to go into Atlanta. The legacy is right there, just outside the perimeter. It's very close for people that are in Atlanta. But for people on the South Side, I mean, it truly is professional theater, like right there.
Yeah.
I've talked to a lot of people that are very surprised. They go to the first show and they're like, oh my gosh, we never realized. I'm like, well, let me tell you about that. Have a seat. But yeah, it's great because the shows are very professional and the quality level is very high. And the nice thing is the theater itself, it only seats, what, 200 people.
Yeah.
So it's very intimate. There's no bad seats whatsoever, and you're close, but yet you get the full theater experience.
Yeah.
You know.
And you've been able to kind of see the whole gambit in terms of an intimate show, a 2-person show, but you've also seen the big summer musicals. You see
Right.
kids, you see
Yeah.
how we do try to knock the doors off, you know, with energy, but we can also do more intimate pieces that kind of hit people in a different way, you know. So
Right.
but
Right.
I mean, honestly, and this is kind of why, you know, I've started with Dave with these interviews, is that, you know, without Dave's expertise, his talent, his friendship, his supporting of what we do, and being able to call him or text him 3 days before a show starts and him able to knock something out that looks fantastic. You know, he is part of who we are and kind of running in the blood of Legacy and everything. So so we hope that you, our patrons, will continue to support the arts, help support Legacy, help support the Georgia Renaissance Festival. Get out, you know, just know that there are people who need your help, need your support, and whether it's just moral support, that's
Right.
that's a great thing right now. And we want to have that community with you again. We want to be in close contact with you again. That's what theater thrives on. That's what it's about. And just know that there'll be more laughs to come. And then maybe, you know, if it does keep going, Tuna Zoom, you know, why not?
I think that's a great idea.
I like it. All right.
We'll violate all kinds of copyright laws, but
We'll do
who
it on the down low. It'll be a what do they call it? I don't know, an underground, not underground. Anyway, see, you give me. I can't.
It'll be on the dark web.
Yeah.
It'll be on the dark web.
I love it. All right, thanks, Dave, and
Thank you.
will chat with you soon.